Ever heard of a killer? I drop bombs like Hiroshima.
Somebody said, look at LeakYou video. What the fuck is LeakYou? Is it like a site? What's LeakYou? LeakYou. Is it a YouTube channel? Oh, shit. Oh, all right, bet. Here we go.
Please hit the like. Thank you.
One, two, three, four.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I hope you are having a fantastic Tuesday. Been a lot going on down here in Tejas, Texas. I know some of you may be familiar. We had a pretty impromptu storm hit overnight, the DFW area, and it ruffled a lot of feathers, created a lot of damage. So definitely keep Texas in your thoughts. I'm coming through to do it's been a minute since I've been live, right? It's been a minute. And I wanted to come through and just, express myself. And this won't be even alien related or anything like that. You see the title, Rafah Massacre, college students losing their minds, and the Donald Trump case is preparing to go to the jury. I have my viewer discretion advised popping because what I'm going to say may offend. I don't know. It may offend some, but thank God I live in America, I guess. I guess. Let's start with the Rafah. Let's start with Rafah. There was a deadly strike in Rafah that occurred. As you all know, it's being referred to as the Rafah Massacre. And it really, really hurt when Netanyahu came out and said that this particular strike that occurred in Rafah was the result of a tragic mishap. Essentially, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Monday that a tragic mishap was made in an Israeli strike in the southern Gaza city of Rafah that set fire to a camp housing displaced Palestinians, and according to local officials, killed at least 45 people. This strike added to the surging international criticism that Israel has faced over its war with Hamas, with even its closest allies expressing outrage at the deaths of civilians. Now, Israel has insisted it adheres to international law, even as it faces scrutiny in many of the world's top courts. One of which demanded last week that Israel halt the offensive in Rafah. Israel saying we're not going to halt that offensive. Now, Benjamin Netanyahu did not elaborate on this tragic mishap. Israel's military initially said it had carried out a precise airstrike on a Hamas compound, killing 2 senior militants. And as details of the strike and fire emerged, the military said it had opened an investigation into the deaths of civilians. The attack, which appeared to be one of the war's deadliest, helped push the overall Palestinian death toll in the war above $36,000. I mean, listen to me, $36,000, 36,000 people. This is according to the Gaza Health Ministry, which, by the way, does not distinguish between fighters and non combatants when it's tallying up that number. I know many of you may have seen some of the video that was floating around, especially on X, of the massacre that happened. And it is a massacre of epic proportions. But are we going to keep pretending like Hamas is some sort of wonderful organization that deserves the support of people? Hey, Emmanuel, good to see you in the YouTube chat. Yeah, I don't even know why I'm live on YouTube, honestly. I can just go live on X at this point in Rumble. I do want to say to those of you that will hear this replay on Rumble, thank you for all the support over on the Rumble platform. My videos have been really picking up steam, and I greatly appreciate the support as I continue my transition over from YouTube to Rumble. I think YouTube's a little upset at Rumble, the Rumble platform. I don't know if any of you all know this, but I will tell you because I'm a content creator that YouTube is blocking links in the description that point to the rumble.com domain. Yeah, yeah. Go to try to create a video and drop a link in the description that points to rumble.com. YouTube is actually blocking that. They have a method that they can do that. It's a particular piece of software on a server platform. So yeah, I found that to be quite interesting. But again, I will say YouTube has been demonetizing platforms. They've become so greedy for the money themselves, and not only just that, the the YouTube's ultimate hammer, so to speak, on people's free speech. Their, videos get flagged when they shouldn't be flagged, and then the people that should be flagged don't ever seem to get flagged. I'm not feeling it. So I've been slowly transitioning off. But anyway, back to Rafah. Hamas, in my lifetime, has always been a terrorist organization, always been terrorists. And I don't think that anybody would disagree that Palestinians seem to cherish death. Okay. They just do. Everyone's a martyr. They have, martyr. Do you know they actually have, areas? They can, areas, land, geographical locations and areas where it's called like, I'll just give an example, right? Of a downtown area like Martyr Hill, that sort of a thing. The love of death is very strong. And a lot of people could say, hey, so many people have been killed. I mean, I get it. I do get it. But my God, why are we acting as if Israel doesn't have a right to defend themselves either? Right? I mean, come on. Now there's always been this talk of two-state solutions. Palestinians don't want a two-state solution, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not even going to sit here and try to boil down Israeli politics. But I have not forgot what happened on October 7th at the Nova Music Festival when those men paraglided into Israel and slaughtered hundreds of people. And yes, I know this isn't the first time Israel has bombed Palestine. But to me, I'm going to be honest, to me, these things that we call trends, they seem to rub off on people. And I think there is such thing as being brainwashed on the internet. Let's just take, for example, here. There's been we'll take the example of those, deciding to change their sexuality, right? They say that they feel like, let's just, take an example of someone I was researching and looking into just yesterday, a man that even said he felt like he got brainwashed by, the internet. And I can see how that can happen. Look at the Britney Spears situation. That's crazy. Britney Spears is over there having domestic violence situations with this new boyfriend of hers. This new boyfriend left his 5 children and his baby's mom. Now all of a sudden, Britney's jewelry's coming up missing and all kinds of weird stuff. It's crazy. But this man, had said previously that he felt he was a woman and proceeded to do the transitioning process. And after he transitioned, he didn't feel that way anymore. There's been so many people that just give him a little time, and they all of a sudden don't feel the same way that they felt 5 years ago. I think that's common just as a human being, period. But I mean, things change. Things absolutely change. And I think that there is a level of brainwashing that takes place depending on what you're consuming when you're, for example, on the internet. It's a thing to transition. It became a thing. Now we got men competing in women's sports when their bodies are physically not even similar. They could wipe a woman out easily. Um, yeah, you can't win in the men's sport against the men. I'm sorry, not the men's sport. You can't win against the men in the sport. So let's go knock out all the women in the sport because you feel like being a woman, right? Or you feel like you're a woman at that time. It's not cool. It's not fair. And I don't think we need to even classify a third, male, women in blood, whatever. Like, it's insane to me. I think it's going too far. And that's just how I feel about it. Is it my age? I don't know. Maybe. But I think it's ridiculous. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that we're even having these conversations where I just think it's ridiculous. Okay, I do. Hey, Gloria. And so anyway, circling back to the Rafah thing, right? Before we get into this whole ICC arrest warrant that's out for Benjamin Netanyahu's arrest. These men paraglided into Israel, massacred hundreds of people, and then it seems like the whole world is angry at Israel for this whole war that's ongoing currently between Hamas and Israel. Do you think Hamas wouldn't wipe Israel out if it had the resources and ability? Get out of there. Sorry, you all. Biscuit's being a little mischievous tonight. He says hello. He just crated up on his own because he knows he was smelling that trash. He ate really good tonight. I don't even know why he's over there smelling the trash. But anyway, Do you really think, hey, Third Eye, good to see you. Do people really believe that Hamas, if it had the ability, the weaponry, the manpower, do we think for 5 seconds that they wouldn't try to wipe Israel off the map? Why are people defending Hamas in colleges across the United States? I'm sorry, but not sorry. I won't be bowing to any pressure of that type. Not gonna happen. I think it's disgusting some of the displays, anti-Israeli displays that we've even seen across the world. We've got people protesting all over the world. And particularly, I'm thinking about a situation that just happened. I believe it was in Greece, where there were some folks that were protesting against Israel, all right, attacking people that were protesting for Israel, and those men are now being deported. I think it's scary that there are people through diasporas of several of different types, right? We've had a lot of migrants showing up in other countries, getting making their way in, and I think I feel like the terrorism that some brought with them rubs off on other people. There's a privilege, not a absolute have to get it type thing to be able to even be in some of these countries. So I'm not necessarily against someone, Greece saying, hey, we're deporting you. That's Greece's business, right? Thank God I'm not the one that has to make the rules and policy and that sort of a thing. But why are people in colleges across the United States, number one, even fighting with each other about what's happening across the way in countries that they may never even step foot on? No focus on what's happening here at all. These people are about to kill each other over a war that's not even directly affecting them. I find it to be very odd. And it's crazy because it could have been any one of them that been massacred at the Nova Music Festival. Uh, those people, they weren't asking people where they were from before they shot them down like dogs. They weren't asking any questions. That's not the only thing Israel's had to deal with. Listen, Hamas is not innocent here. And ultimately, at the end of the day, like, that's my thing. Why are you people acting as if Hamas is some innocent organization that has done no wrong? It's not okay because it's just not factually true, not facts. So that's how I feel about that. I think it's crazy to see all of the disdain that's happening across America. And let's go right into this, right? Something pretty unprecedented that happened about a week ago when the ICC issued arrest warrants for Israel and Hamas. They want Benjamin Netanyahu. And he responded with fury to the news that he might face an arrest warrant for war crimes and crimes against humanity. And guess who assisted and helped the international court come up with these charges and warrant? Amal Clooney, George Clooney's wife. Benjamin Netanyahu said it was a moral outrage of historic proportions and that Israel was waging a just war against Hamas, a genocidal terrorist organization that perpetrated the worst attack on Jewish people since the Holocaust. In a very bitter personal attack, Mr. Netanyahu said that Karim Khan, the chief prosecutor of the ICC, which is the International Criminal Court, was one of the great anti Semites in modern times. Mr. Khan, Netanyahu said, was like judges in Nazi Germany who denied Jews basic rights and enabled the Holocaust. His decision to seek arrest warrants against Israel's prime minister and defense minister was, quote, callously pouring gasoline on the fires of anti Semitism that are raging around the world. Now, when he made this statement, he did release this via video pretty soon after the ICC made their announcement. Now, Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant said or described these arrest warrants against him and Benjamin Netanyahu as a disgraceful attempt to interfere in the war. They also added that the state of Israel is not a party to the court and does not recognize its authority. The outrage that was expressed by the prime minister and echoed by Israel's political leadership was generated by pages of carefully chosen legal language in a statement issued by Mr. Khan. Now, this ICC chief prosecutor is also the British King's Counsel. Word by word, line by line, they add up to a devastating series of allegations against the three most prominent leaders of Hamas, as well as Israel's prime minister and defense minister. Hamas has demanded the withdrawal of the allegations against its leaders, claiming that the ICC's prosecutor was equating the victim with the executioner. And it said the request to issue arrest warrants for the Israeli leadership came 7 months too late after the, quote, Israeli occupation committed thousands of crimes. Joe Biden, your president, said it was outrageous to apply for arrest warrants and that there was no equivalence between Israel and Hamas. Did you know that Hamas gives a bounty when suicide bombings are committed? Families of those suicide bombers get a bounty. So yeah, I'm not understanding this this worldwide condemnation that's happening. Now I have followed the news. I've followed, excuse me, Israel politics my whole life, news, politics, all of that. Yeah, I'm not feeling it, and I hate to see our American students fighting with each other over something that they literally have zero control. It's just, it's like people are just looking for a reason to fight, man. I think it's horrible. I think even the strike that happened, the massacre in Rafah, that was an absolute massacre. I seen the video. But I'm not going to sit up here and act like um, Israel hasn't suffered some casualties too. It wouldn't be factually true. So yeah. Anyway, that's how I feel about that, and I'll leave it at that. I really hope that things can be settled soon, but I just know in my heart that's not the case. I feel like, just like the Bible says, there's going to be, weeping and gnashing of teeth, and it's going to get worse. You all notice the weather. What is going on with the weather? Is anyone else noticing the very strange uptick in weather situations? Impromptu tornadoes that just pop up. We had several people killed in North Texas less than a week ago from an F3, an E3 or EF3 tornado that it winds. It was insane. Here's something else. Y'all noticing all the weather channels pulling hella viewers on their live streams? It's crazy. I had one guy, I think his name is like Max Velocity. Then there's another one called like Texas Weather Network. And y'all, there was one point, there was like over 100,000 people watching their live stream on YouTube. And I'm like, and they all sound the same, right? When they talk, they all sound the same. So yeah, I guess business is good for the springtime for people that just want to do weather. I even seen a kid giving weather forecasts, and I just thought that was quite interesting. But if you all get a chance, Emmanuel, when you get a chance, research the blob anomaly that has been happening. There's been 4 incidents of a very strange blob slash anomaly that has been creeping up from Antarctica. Some say it's actually coming. The source is actually a place called Bouvet Island. And there's a very strange anomaly that's been showing up on radar systems, on many radar systems. And it seems to, disperse and get bigger and bigger and bigger and then goes away. At one point, the National Weather Service came back and said, "Hey, that was a glitch in the system." But it's happened like 4 different times. And I even looked at a few scans from other dates slash times, and it even looked like very strange cloud-like anomalies were creeping up from that same area. You know what it really looked like to me? Like sound waves rippling through the clouds. Is it possible that our weather is being modified? Chemtrails. How real is it? How real is it? Some venture, to say, hey, it's as real as it gets. The fact that our weather is being modified. And then I hear like the testimony of some scientists who even say, hey, we have some technologies where we can actually alter the weather pattern in some cases. But is it possible that this blob anomaly is responsible for weather changes that have been happening in our world? I don't know. Something weird is going on. There's absolutely been an uptick in spring storms, weather. I couldn't tell you how many tornadoes have touched down this year in 2024. Yeah, yes, that's a good one. HARP, another weapon. But it's been too many, you all, to count. Way too many to count. So anyway, as I sort of wind this down as we close out, are y'all ready for Donald Trump's guilty slash not guilty verdict? Well, the Secret Service is trying to prepare for it. There has been a meeting that has taken place with the Secret Service on what should happen or what will happen if Donald Trump is placed behind bars. The Secret Service has met with local jail officials in New York to make preparations just in case. So according to CBS News, a New York correction source made this revelation that former President Donald Trump is entitled, well, as former President Donald Trump, he's entitled to Secret Service protection for the rest of his life, even if he is sentenced to jail. This would be the first president slash former president that has ever been placed into a jail if it happens. Could y'all just imagine this for a second? Donald Trump behind bars. Just imagine that. Behind bars, correction officers would be responsible for protecting Trump. But will they protect him? Trump could end up in Rikers, folks. Donald Trump could literally end up in the famous, infamous jail, Rikers. Could you see Donald Trump having to go behind a 6-foot cell without his gold toilet? Oh my gosh, y'all. He may kill himself, you know? There listen, he's facing up to 4 years in prison per charge. He has 34. In New York City, felony convictions with sentences over 1 year are typically those folks are sent to state prisons, not carried out at a Rikers Island, which is technically only supposed to hold people whose sentences are around 1 year or people, doing a pretrial. But a freshly convicted Donald Trump could potentially be held temporarily at Rikers before being transferred to a state penitentiary. It's a very unusual process and a very unusual set of circumstances. Because, listen, most inmates don't come with lifetime Secret Service detail. Jury deliberations in Donald Trump's hush money trial are expected to begin Wednesday. I'm hearing that the jury may get the case just right before lunch. Again, Donald Trump has been charged with 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in which he pled not guilty. Michael Cohen really put the bruising on Donald Trump, y'all. He did. He did. He admitted to paying that hush money for Stormy, and it's a mess. You got to go do some Donald Trump designs. You don't think so? You don't think he'll be found guilty? And you all, this is not the only case. And Donald Trump is still running for office. Okay, we've got a whole presidential election coming up, and he still wants your vote. So now, my thing with this whole Donald Trump thing situation, with the whole all of these cases and everything, is that I feel like Donald Trump is gaining support with everything that's going on. There's just something about when people get caught on the other side, so to speak, they tend to, for some reason, like gain support. And that seems to be happening with Donald Trump. But guess who showed up at a pro Trump rally or outside of the courthouse today? Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro almost got his head knocked off today. It was insane. He went right into a group of pro-Trump MAGA lovers that proceeded to call him everything from a traitor to, every word under the sun. But Robert De Niro didn't care. Robert De Niro has been very vocal about his disrespect for the former president. This trial has been going on for 6 weeks. 6 weeks. 6 long weeks. Oh, man. Y'all, I don't know. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Imagine Donald Trump just like going off on the judge, right? Because at first, I'll never forget like the first day when this trial started. Donald Trump, they said he was in there sleeping in the courtroom. So I don't think that really fares well when it comes to, the judge having mercy, so to speak, right? So I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. I will be covering, believe me, I will be covering that when it does happen. The moment that this trial goes to the jury on Wednesday, I'm going to be covering it off hour to hour. It's going to be interesting, even how long it's going to take the jury to return a verdict. So, we'll see. And you all, the people that got picked in the jury pool for this case, this is better than I would say if you're gonna be a juror, this would be better. This is better than even the O.J. Simpson, that murder trial for Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman, being a juror on that trial, right? A lot of those jurors ended up, writing books and all sorts of stuff. But being a juror on the Donald Trump criminal hush money trial, oh, I wanna know who each of 'em are like, and so does the news and everybody else. They wanna know who each of these jurors are, their backgrounds, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It'd be a very scary/dangerous thing to be a juror to, I think, in this trial, especially if the verdict doesn't go a certain way. But man, oh man, if you thought this was, something that was gonna disgrace Trump amazingly, he is still pushing, pushing, pushing as if there is no disgrace to be had here. And I think Michael Cohen really, really put a hurt on Donald Trump. And keep in mind, Michael Cohen did 3 years in prison for being his consigliere. So he has an axe to grind, and rightfully so. He did 3 years, lost his law license, and he went through quite a lot trying to protect Donald Trump. We all was looking at Michael Cohen like, "If you don't go sit down somewhere, you don't go sit your butt down." Yeah, that's what I'm like, if you convict Trump and you're on that jury and you're gonna have to join the witness protection program. As of right now, Donald Trump does not have his passport. And after this trial is finished, he still has 2 more criminal situations to deal with. One in Georgia and one in Florida, right? Whenever the federales kicked in his door and found he was in possession of classified material. So there's that. All right. There's that. And for some reason, I don't know why, only like a very small amount of people see the gravity in Donald Trump taking this classified material, and traveling the world with it, right? We don't know if he shared any of this information with adversaries or what. Donald Trump is, unhinged, has been unhinged at times, and I feel like, the people, so to speak, right, are they wanna put him behind bars. I think he's really ticked off enough people. So that will be interesting watching how that, proceeds, man. Just that piece of say, he was all, like, grabbing by the "ussy" or whatever, but that piece of say just wasn't worth it, was it, Donald? Always trying to pay somebody off, and it ended up really biting him in the butt, for sure, for sure. Oh, and you all, let's not forget January 6th either, the riot, right? The Capitol Hill riots, like, people died that day. He sat there and literally incited a riot, right, in everyone's faces. So, how he has went from that to now, like, this very amazing, like, turn of events, this wave of support that seems to be happening. I don't know. It's just interesting. All I can do is just report on it, talk about it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't have Instagram up, third eye. I'm not logged into Instagram right now, and I have two-factor off, and, I got logged out about a week or so ago, and I haven't logged back in, and I need my other phone to log back in, so, you know, unfortunately, I can't share a screen on my phone or I would show it from my phone, but, yeah, it's been a minute since I've been on IG, a minute. I've been all up on the TikTok, using the algorithm. I love their algorithm. Their algorithm is really good. It's always expressing really good videos. But, hey, heaven sent, good to see you. Man, everybody's coming through today. I know it's been a minute since I've been live. But listen, that's all I got for today. It's all I got. Shout out to all the platforms that I'm streaming on. Before I get up out of here, you all allow me to pay a few bills if you don't mind. And Third Eye, feel free to drop a link to your YouTube channel. And you all, anyone in the chat, feel free to the mods, feel free to drop a link to your YouTube channel. We've got Gloria in the building, Roll a Mile Investigate. She does true crime content. And definitely make sure you subscribe to her channel. Third Eye also has a very cool channel with a lot of his artwork and designs. Unfortunately, I'm not logged into IG on this laptop, so I can't bring up IG right now. But uh, he's got some really, really good artwork. And then we've got Emmanuel in the building, and we've got Heaven Sent in the building. That's right. Drop your links, folks. Let me pay a few bills really quick, if you don't mind, folks. Give me a sec. Shout out to the Leak You community. Please join us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music.
Please hit the like. Thank you.
I was trying to bring up Third Eye's YouTube channel. Hold on. Hold that thought. There it is. Crazy Third Eye. Man, look at this channel. Look at this. I'll show this really quick since I can't show your IG, Third Eye. Hopefully if y'all can see that. Lights are now on for the front and back door. If you haven't gotten into routines yet on your Amazon device, your Alexa device, you better get in where you fit in. My lights cut on by themselves each day. I don't have to do anything, folks. But no, I was, look at this. That's what I'm talking about, Third Eye. Third Eye, like I said, does a lot of artwork. As you can see, a lot of different artwork. So it's, oh, I love this. I love that. Love, love, love that. That is too damn cute. Just goes on and on. If someone's interested in grabbing some of your artwork, Third Eye, how do they get in touch with you? Hey, Nakai. Let me drop a link to Third Eye's channel here. Crazy Third Eye, our resident ringmaster at Interloper Nation. I don't know if he heard me or not. But anyway, you all, I wanted to show that before I head on out, especially to those of you on YouTube. So one thing I question or ask myself, if Netanyahu was to travel to a place where an international criminal court warrant could essentially be enacted, does this mean that he can't do his normal world travels in the fear that he could be arrested and then tried at this, at The Hague? That's a question I have. All right. Anyway, I was waiting on Third Eye to respond, but anyway, let me jump up off of here, folks. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming through, guys. Until next time.
The judgment sentence that you are an asshole. The trial is over. Thank you, everybody.
Let's play a game. You have 10 seconds to take all your stuff and get out of my life. 10, 9, 8.
God bless you, motherfucker.
You're really smart, like really, really, really smart. Like